Hello again, guys. Here's another episode of How to Build Your Own PC. This episode I'll be discussing the case, or choosing a case for your PC build. First of all, the case goes by a few different names. Case, chassis, tower, the box behind your monitor. What it does is it's the housing unit for all the other components and cooling systems for the PC. Now, I've seen some cases where people just put like their motherboard and the pieces on a hunk of wood or in a desk, or they build their own case from whatever wood or plastic or whatever materials or plexiglass, which is fine. That's pretty awesome. I've seen some really creative things, but this is more just going to be talking about which one to buy in like a bundle, or how to select your own, or what size do you need. Because with the case, there's not so much technical information as it's a lot more about personal preference, but there is some things you should probably know. So in the next slide, I got a few different categories when it comes to size anyway, because size is important. But there's a lot of categories I've seen at different sites and what they call them, but I have a few of the major ones that are relevant here in this next slide. A micro tower, a mid tower, a full tower, and a super tower. Now, most PC builds fall into the mid tower category or the full tower category. However, with the new low profile graphics cards and the miniature motherboards and even the Steam machines now, it's possible to have a gaming PC be only a little bit larger than the next gen console like the PS4 or the Xbox One. However, if you're a person watching this video and just trying to learn how to put together a gaming PC, it's better to start with a mid or a full tower, because it gives you a lot more space to work in and it has a lot more room for potential upgrades. And really, I only put the super tower in here just to see how fancy you can really get. However, unless you're running a system with a really large liquid cooling system, 2 or 3 graphics cards, and an array of 10 or 11 hard drives, this is completely overkill, because that case costs like $300. And if you're, trying to do a budget build of, let's say, $1,000 or less, or even lower than that, you don't want to spend 30 to 50% of your budget on just the case. That's completely unnecessary. But however, my case, this 410 here, is only like probably 40% smaller than that, and it could fit in everything I wanted just fine. If you're unsure which brand or style to go with, as you can see, I'm kind of partial to NZXT and Cooler Master. That was the first case, which I'm going to show you was a Cooler Master case. A Thermal Take is good as well. Rosweld, all of them are pretty good. But if you're unsure which brand to pick based on brand or price, just go with something, at least for the first time over, go with something practical over flashy. Because I showed you in my first video that my case, the Phantom 410, had a switch that can manually change the speed of your fans, which is kind of a neat feature, but at the same time it's kind of gimmicky, because it's probably better to let the computer decide what speed the fan should be, because it knows when it needs to be cooled and knows when it needs to be cooled much better than you will. I was speaking to a friend about a bare bones kit, which, if you don't know what that is, it's just a pre-made bundle on a site like Newegg or Tiger Direct that has all the parts that you need for a PC. I think in most cases, with the exception of a Windows operating system, that you can put together to build a computer already pre-selected for you. And the case in this build that he was showing me was only $35 or $40, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you want just a plain case with no plexiglass or no fancy switches or knobs or any of that, that's perfectly fine. The only thing I want you to be mindful again is the size, because if you're picking a bunch of large extended motherboards and long extended graphics cards, it'd be a shame if you didn't realize that you bought a micro tower and none of it fits inside of it, and you have to return it and you have to wait that much longer to put together your build because you didn't measure that out. So it's wiser to buy a larger case than you think you need. Again, this is why you should start with a mid tower or a full tower, because it's better to have more size, more space that you need than not enough. And this is the part where I'm going to show you the case from the first computer build I did, a Cooler Master 690 Nvidia edition. So we're going to go over to that now. Okay, here's my case for my original build, the first build that I did, the Cooler Master 690 CM Nvidia edition case. I'll show you the logos here by Nvidia and Cooler Master. There's also a badge here from EVGA when I bought a newer graphics card for this. It came with that badge, so I just stuck it on the front. Some of the features of this case: it has the chrome power and reset buttons, which in itself isn't an amazing thing, but the location, usually the power buttons are like up on either side or in the middle here. But I actually thought this was kind of, some people thought this was kind of crappy the way this was placed there, but I thought it was kind of nice. Because in college my roommate thought it'd be funny to try to restart my computer as I'm working on homework. And it took him forever to figure out the buttons are not on the top of the case, and it frustrated him, so I thought it was kind of a blessing in disguise. But there's a few ports on the top here, two USB 2.0s, which now a lot of them have 3.0s, but with a newer motherboard and extender cable, you could just have a cable come on the top for a 3.0 device to get the faster speed. And when we start talking about the interfaces for like the motherboard, I can explain the difference in speeds a little bit later on. And there's a port with a 3.5mm jack for both a microphone and a speaker, so if you got like a Turtle Beach headset, instead if that's not USB, you can plug it in that way. Firewire 1394 port for some older digital cameras and some other digital recording, some camcorders and some things like that that still use Firewire, and even some like scanners. So, and then also we have external SATA, which I've seen a lot of optical drives like DVD, Blu-ray, external disk drives that use this port, which is actually a lot faster than USB. So that they put this option here is pretty great, but it just not often is used because it's not as universal as a USB. Then again, it's a universal serial bus, so what do you expect? As you go around the back here, we have the expansion port, or just a slot for a motherboard, expansion cards I mean, and power supply, which I'm going to show you guys how to install those things in the next couple videos. Here we have the inside, which is like, it's pretty barren since there's nothing in it. We have room for about 5 hard drives and 5 optical drives like DVDs and USBs. Now the cable is down here to get power from the motherboard to the ports on the top, and over here the power to the switches on the side. And then when we get to the motherboard video, I'll show you where those exactly go. But yeah, here's my case. But this is actually a little bit rarer case, I guess, since they don't make these Nvidia editions anymore. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I like green instead of just a plain black. But yeah, that'll do it for this this time. Remember to like and subscribe to my videos, and I'll see you guys next time.